Hey guys, we're going to have a little discussion. We're going to talk about the CRLs and we're going to talk about the SLD. The CLR or um, CRLs, sorry, that stands for Costume Reference Library. Okay, and then the SLD stands for Sith Lord Detachments. So, for anybody building a Vader who wants to be in the 501st, right away I'm going to recommend you go and sign up for the SLD. It's free. It's going to cost you nothing. You just sign up, and basically it's a form full of 501st members. It's also full of vendors. I mean, that is like your library to building a Vader. Okay. A good Vader. Okay, all the reference material that you need is there. If you have a question, you can ask. Somebody will answer. It does not take long. So we kind of ran into a few problems, and talking with a lot of the members, along with talking to some. I can't think of the abbreviation, guys. It's the I'm sorry, my mind is just blank right now. There's just so much information. The garrison officer, what's the word I'm looking for? Lizion, I guess is how you pronounce it. I don't know, but it's GOL. So technically, talking with all those guys, the GOL, he is the one that is actually going to look at your costume and determine whether it's approvable to be into the 501st. The CRL is just your reference library. If you follow that, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get approved. Like I say, it all comes down to that garrison officer who is going to look at it and determine what they think. Now, there's some mixed reviews. Some officers or garrison officers, I hear that, they'll let you slide on a few things, but there are some that are just really strict and they'll tell you, no, that's not going to work. You need to change that. So right away, what I did was I started a form. I listed all the parts that I was getting, and right away, I started getting hits, people talking about all the stuff that I was getting. Right away, we ran into a problem with the boots. That was probably technically the armor. The armor was the first big red flag that came up. So looking at it, I kind of based it off of Rogue One and A New Hope, because I felt like Kenobi's Vader was kind of within that area. And I just went and got, I believe the description of it was A New Hope armor, but I had it painted in the paint scheme of how it looks in Kenobi. And I posted, the guy made the armor for me, sent me pictures of it. It looks great. I mean, it's beautiful. I still have not received it yet. It's still currently in shipping. But he sent me pictures of it. I posted it, on the Sith Lord Detachment, saying that this is what I got, and everybody right away said that the armor looks good. However, it is not going to work for Kenobi. And I was like, why not? I mean, it looks correct to me, but there's actually some little fine details that will make that not approvable for that particular Vader. Now, is that armor 501st approvable? Yes, but not for the Kenobi Vader. So you see, that's where you're going to start running into little things. You're going to have to pick the Vader that you want to build and kind of stick to that. And what's hard about it right now is there's no CRL for the Kenobi Vader. They're working on one, but it's probably not going to be up for a while from what everybody's saying. So the best thing you can do is go to the Sith Lord Detachments, see what's being talked about so you can fix these errors before you run into the problems that we did. So right away, the chest armor is shaped differently. Okay, the bottom, it's cut differently. The shoulder bells look like they sit up a tad bit higher. So, I mean, there's a lot of different variations to that armor. They sent me a bunch of behind the scenes pictures and everything, and I started to notice. I was like, yeah, okay. So right away, we had to fix that problem. I mean, I'm kind of out of money when it comes to that set of armor. However, it's not bothering me a whole lot due to the fact that that armor can still be used to build another Vader. So if I wanted to later down the road try to do A New Hope or Rogue One, that armor will work for that Vader. So no harm, no foul. Now, could it have been money that I saved? Yes. But, you know, you live and learn, okay? That's why I'm making this video, so you guys will have that information, okay? To hopefully save you money down the line. The next problem we ran into were the boots. Right away, I thought the boots were a hit when I got them. So, you know, we did the unboxing video. I showed them off to you guys. We compared them to the CRL, and everything looked like they were going to be good. Now, here's where you run into your problem. Not everything is listed in the CRLs, okay? For example, I posted a picture of the boots. There was only one thing that was going to stop those boots from getting approved. And they also said that it may depend on the garrison officer. The garrison officer may let me slide with those boots. However, a lot of them, they say, are not letting you slide. They're going to tell you no. And it's because of the tracks that are on the sole. I'm like, really? The tracks? I mean, come on, guys. You know? I mean, you know, I already knew building this that the 501st they were very strict. It's one of the hardest organizations to get into, okay? Because everything is just so nitpick. You know, everything has to be up to their standards. And so they sent me links, you know, of, hey, you know, these are the boots. Get these. So we had to spend a little bit extra money. So we're definitely going over our budget. But we had to get some new boots. The boots that we got, they're Soviet boots. So when those come in, we will showcase those on the channel as well so that everybody can see the accurate boots that people need to get for 501st approval. You know, that's where the CRL is going to kind of mess with you, because nowhere in that CRL does it talk about tracks, you know, on the soles or whatever, you know. So it's kind of this on that, because you have one garrison officer that may approve it, but then you may have another one that's like, no, them boots ain't gonna work, you know. So it's kind of so just save yourself the hassle, save yourself the money, and just get the correct boots to start with. Then you won't have to turn around and spend more money buying the correct stuff. So that's what this video is about, guys. Yes, it's going to be expensive. You should know this going into building a 501st approval Vader. It's not going to be cheap, okay? Another problem we ran into, which I made a video on, was the bodysuit. That was a complete fail. I mean, the material was wrong, just everything was just wrong about it. It didn't fit properly, even after giving my measurements. It was just, to me, it was garbage. Now, it can be used for something else, but I mean, that's $100 kind of wasted. It's $100 could have went to something else. You know what I mean? That's kind of the issues we're running into. Now, we did order a new bodysuit from Crow Props, a 2-piece, so I hear the 2 pieces are more forgiving when it comes to the measurements. I also had my next door neighbor. He is a ex-Marine. He used to do measurements in the Marine Corps for uniforms and all that shit like that. So I went over there and was like, "Hey, bud, I got a weird request for you. Can you please take my measurements?" And he's like, "Sure, man, no problem." He's a Star Wars fan as well. So I told him I was trying to build a Vader, and he was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" So he took all my measurements. We compared them to my last measurements that I had Men's Warehouse do for me, and they were a little off, not by much, but just a little. Not enough for that one jumpsuit to not fit me properly. So the people that were doing that just apparently did not know what the hell they were doing, or just didn't care about your measurements, just built something close to it, and then you get it and you're like, trying to squeeze into the damn thing. So anyway, we spent the money and we got a good 2-piece from Crow's Props. That will be 501st approvable. Let's see. The next thing I had to do, like I say, was the armor. I had to reach out to the person that is making my Vader helmet, my Kenobi helmet, and asked him if he could do the Kenobi chest armor in fiberglass for me as well. And he did. He said, yeah, that's not going to be a problem. Gave me a good deal. So since I already got the helmet from him, kind of gave me a deal on the armor. Worked out. I say it worked out, but we still had to spend some money. So yeah, in the long run, we're way over our budget. However, you're going to run into these problems when you build this kind of costume. Take your time, do the research, and hopefully you won't run into any snags. Another big problem that we're having right now is there's no Kenobi Vader CRL. So we're kind of having to wing everything, and hopefully when the CRL comes out, that everything I'm getting should be close enough for approval, due to the fact that I'm following the Sith Lord detachments and all of their recommendations. They say, may have to change out a few little things here and there. Shouldn't be too expensive. But for the most part, we're getting all the expensive stuff kind of out of the way. Another issue I ran into was the vendor I got to make the cape and robe. So I started talking to the members. I mentioned who I was getting it from, and right away, bad reviews. I say bad reviews, I should say mixed reviews, but they were more bad than good. So I was like, oh shit. So another problem I ran into. So I had to contact that vendor, sent him pictures and everything. Was like, look, this is what I need. I need the wool cape with the satin lining, with the leather collar and everything. I need the robe that has the correct pleats, right? I sent him pictures of everything because the Sith Lord detachments, they gave me the pictures. They're like, send these pictures, make sure he does it correctly. And that's where we ran into the problem. I sent him these pictures, and then he's like, oh, well, that's not in the CLR. And I'm like, well, that's because there is no CRL for the Kenobi Vader yet. We're building something new, and this is what it needs to look like per Sith Lord detachments. And he was like, oh, no, you might be better off having somebody else do it. So long story short, we canceled that order. He refunded me my money. So the good news is we didn't have to spend any extra money. He refunded me the money, so the money that he refunded me will be able to put down on a new cape and robe from a vendor who can actually do the job. And right now I'm waiting to hear back from that vendor. One of the members from the Sith Lord detachments, they put me in contact with a person that can do the cape and robe, and it can be 501st approvable. They have all their capes and robes have been approved in the 501st for the past 7 years. So they have a good track record, right? It's made of wool. It's got the satin lining, it's everything we need it to be. and it may cost me just a little bit of extra money, but not enough to hurt me. So we're good there. So yeah, guys, it has been an up and down journey, but we are getting it done. The costume will be made. It's gonna look fabulous. It's gonna look freaking awesome. I can't wait for everything to come in and we get it all together. I'm working with my guy on the helmet and the chest armor still. You know, I mean, it is bought, it is paid for. However, as new pictures come in on the Sith Lord detachments of all this stuff, I'm sending it to him so we can make sure that everything is accurate, everything is kind of up to par with what it needs to be, you know. So it's kind of a work in progress, right? To where when the CRL comes out, that helmet armor should pass. I mean, if it doesn't, then we may try to go for a Rogue One or a New Hope Vader, because the only thing I'd have to change is the helmet, and that'd be it. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we stand, guys. It's a work of love. I mean, it is what it is. You guys, you're gonna spend some money, but save yourself the hassle. Do it right the first time. Get on the CRL, get on the Sith Lord detachments, talk to people, do the research, get pictures, get behind the scene pictures, look at everything, send it to vendors, ask, can you do this? Will it be 501st approvable? You know, to where when you spend that money, it's not going to come back and bite you later when it doesn't. You know, you get the product back and you're like, whoa, this is nowhere near what I was expecting, you know, and then you're out whatever money you just spent on that because you have to turn around and rebuy it from somebody else who can actually physically do it. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt, guys. But really that's going to be it for this video. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but there was a lot to discuss. Probably left a few things out because there's just so much information, but yeah, at the moment we are on track now. Everything is pretty much bought. The only thing that's not bought yet is the cape and robe, due to the fact that we had to cancel that order, and I'm still waiting to hear back from the other vendor who can correctly do it. Once I hear back from them, we discuss what we're doing. I know she can do it. Everybody says she can do it. We just have to discuss it, you know, and then I'll get that order placed, and I'll update. I'll let everybody know everything is bought, everything's paid for. We are good to go, and that's gonna be it, guys. After that, it's just the waiting game for everything to come in. All right, guys, y'all take care, and we'll see y'all next time.